Good morning, Gurpranatha. Welcome to the International English Language Assessment Basic Mock Spelling Test conducted by Multiple Academy. Today, I'm examining my name is Fitness. So, it's divided into three parts. Before that, I would like to ask you person question. I hope you're ready. What is your full name?
My full name is Anaf Tazwar. You can call me Anaf.
Where do you come from?
I come from Barishal, but I live in Dhaka.
Okay, do you study work?
I'm a student at class 9 and I study at Manipur High School and College.
How do you pass your free time?
I pass my free time reading books or drawing some pictures. Mostly I just spend my time outside or play something with my
So,
parents or talk with my sister and or play some mobile games. That's what I do in my free time.
what are your favorite colors?
My favorite color, I have a lot of favorite color. I like violet, I like blue, I like yellow, and that's it.
So now let's move to the main topic. Part one is about social media. Which social media website do you use most?
I don't use much social media websites. If you say so, I only use YouTube as my main social media website. I use YouTube a lot because it's a place for global interactions. You can meet a lot of people from every country in the world. So I think it's better. It's a place where you can socially meet everyone. It feels like you're in a village where the whole world is in your hand, and that's why I use YouTube as my main social media website. Other than that, I use Messenger, Facebook, or WhatsApp. That's it. But mostly for entertainment and for communication and global interactions, I use YouTube. That's it.
Okay, so how much time do you spend on social media sites?
I don't know. I don't really spend a lot of my time is in on social media
So how much
websites.
time?
Maybe like 1 hour or 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's the most I get because
In a
you
day?
know I'm not very a free person. I have a lot of things to do in my life, and I'm very busy. And whenever I get the time, I have other things to do. I barely get any time to spend on other leisurely stuff. So I don't really get much time to to have fun using social media. So that's why I don't really have much social media websites. And whenever I get the time, I just watch some YouTube videos, and that's it. Otherwise, I don't really have much time.
Do you upload any do you upload any information about on your social media website?
What?
Do you upload any information on your social media website or in account?
Well, I don't, post a lot of my personal information in social media
And what
because
kind of information you upload usually?
the information that is only necessary to make an account or other stuff. Other than that, I don't really want to, share my personal information because it's something that's personal and it should really keep it secret. And social media has a lot of bad people, and not everyone in. Just as I said, this is global interaction. It means you'll meet everyone in this world pretty much, and that means that you will also meet a lot of bad people who will do harm to you. So that's why I avoid putting my personal information on social media, and I only put the information that are necessary to make an account or enjoy the social media. Other than that, I always be careful of putting any personal, uh, information.
Information.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you don't like about social media?
Just as I said earlier, the main thing I don't like about it that is it's very dangerous place for this time. It wasn't always dangerous, but now it's very dangerous place because in real life, if someone troubles you, you can actually get away with it. But in social media, if someone troubles you, you can't really do much because it's social media and no one really cares about if you have a problem in social media. So it's a very dangerous place, and people like hackers and scammers can easily scam you and put you in danger or steal your personal information. And there's a lot of people like this on social media, and that's the main thing I don't like about social media. It's not like real life where you can just easily or talk to someone or communicate with someone. You have to do a lot of things. You have to always be cautious about your personal information. So it's not like real life that you can just say hi and hello and talk with someone. Rather, you have to be cautious with who are you talking to. And the second thing is that the generation of today, that the internet can be pretty bad because there are a lot of people. As I said earlier, I said about hackers and scammers, but other than them, there are also a lot of people who try to destroy your reputation or image by saying many wrong things about you. And that is the thing I don't like about social media either. And it is increasing a lot in the present generation. And as you know, as generation goes, the social media will be more dangerous place than real life. And that's why I prefer talking to someone in real life rather than using social media. I only use social media if I have to or if it's for any educational purpose. And those are the things, as I said, I, though what I don't like about social media. And that is the reason why I don't use a lot of social media websites, because it comes with a lot of danger.
Just in different part on unless the person is part, you have to talk about the topic for is a cue part, and you can also mix and match if you want. So recipe. So it time starts from now. So 1 minute time is okay. You can start from now.
Well, that is a very interesting topic. It is a thing I admire and I love a lot. Well, that will be my favorite watch. It is a watch that was given to me by my mom when I was a very young kid. I was 5 years old when I got the watch, and it is still working. It has a very high quality. It is very pretty and it looks very good, and it also works very fine, and it's also easy to understand time using it. And I always admired it as my mom gave me in my birthday on my birthday, and that's why I admired it a lot. And I still wear it. And yes, sometimes it did got broken, and but I fixed it because I love it a lot. And since my childhood, I also always liked watch a lot because I love watch. I also like shoes, but I like watch the most. I have a lot of watch, but this is the watch I admire the most, and I try to keep it as safe as possible because it is something I admire. Because this is something I got when I was very young, and it makes me feel very nostalgic, and that's why I use it a lot because it makes me remember my childhood, the golden days of my childhood, and that's why I keep it as a sign of my childhood, and that's why I admire a lot. Also, another factor is that it's a watch, and as you know how much my love for watches, and that is the main factor for it. And also, I'll say another thing that um, yeah, a toy. There was a toy that was given to me from my aunt, and I still have it as a memorial thing. And there are quite a lot of things that I admire the most. But if you say which thing I admire the most that was given to me, that will be my childhood watch, and I still have it in my hand, and you can see it's still working pretty fine.
So that's the info part. Now let's move to part three about creating a nice home. So why do some people buy a lot of things for their home?
It solely depends on the person's taste. As I said, some people might not like it, and some people won't really decorate their house using lots of decoration. You can see that a lot of people decorate their house, and there are also some people who have a very large home, a home that could be customized in various ways, but they still don't, decorate it, and they just keep it empty and dead. So it solely depends on the person's mindset and how the person wants their house to be, and that is the thing. Otherwise, it's nothing necessary. So it can't really have a necessary purpose of buying decorative stuff. So it is the person that wants to decorate whether he wants to or not. So there's not really any means to use it because your house can also look pretty fine without decoration. But if I really have to say, I'll say if you have a large house, you have a lot of opportunities to buy a lot of things for your house and decorate them, and that is probably the only reason why people buy a lot of things for their home, because other than their own personal taste. Because if you have a large house, you can do a lot of things. You can make it look in very good, and that's why people think about buying a lot of things and make the house look better rather than just an empty place. And another thing, if you have too much money or if you're a rich person, you have to spend your money, and you have to spend your money on something, and you just spend it on decorative stuff, make your house look better. and that is why you can see that most rich people have a lot of decorative things in their house. So yeah, that is probably the main reason. If you have too much money, you have to spend your money on something at least.
So, do you think that it is very good sense to make a house for good look
Well, yeah, it is
or
very
or nice look?
yeah, it is very expensive these days. Back days, anyone could buy some flowers and decorate the house, but now it's not that easy. You have to buy it from the mall, and everything is so much expensive, and every small thing is so has such a high price. You just imagine you have to buy some flowers, and the flower costs a lot of money, but in the old days you could just get flowers from from someone's garden. But now everything is so expensive, and just like food and everything, clothes, these decorative stuff are also very expensive because people buy it a lot. And if you want to make a house look truly good, you have to buy a lot of things and things that look good. And if you want to buy those sort of stuff, you need to spend a lot of money. That's why you may not see a lot of decorative stuff in a poor people's house, and you will see a lot of good looking decorative things in a rich people's house. So I think, yeah, it is very expensive these days. But if you say about the old days, it wasn't much expensive, and literally every people's house was looking very beautiful. But the generation changed and everything
It's
changed.
very expensive to buy.
Yeah.
Why don't some people care about how their home looks?
There are some careless people, and also, as I said earlier, whether you decorate your house or not, it depends on your taste. It's not nothing necessary. If you don't decorate your house on get demolished or something, your house on destroy. So it's solely a person taste. So if some people don't want to decorate their house because some people are either careless or some people don't really have the taste of decorating their house, and some people don't really care. Also, you can say that poor peoples are the one who don't decorate the house. Otherwise, no matter how bad the person's taste is, if he is rich, he's definitely going to buy something for the house. So why do poor people don't buy anything for the house? Because they barely can make a good living. They can't even afford clothes. They can't even afford a good educational school. They can't afford anything quite easily. They have to work real hard to earn money, and if you work so much hard to earn some money, you won't spend that money on things that are not necessary. As I said earlier, these things are just for decoration and to make your house look good, nothing necessary. So people who can't even afford things that are necessary for them, do you think they'll bother buying things that are not necessary? And that is why poor people don't focus on things, and they rather don't care, focus their money on something else and spend their money on other things. So yeah, it depends on the person, but it also depends on the person's financial condition. And some people don't really care because they don't really have that sort of condition to think about things that are not necessary. That's why.
So different types of home. Do you think that homes will be look different in future?
Yeah, definitely. And you can already see it. Like, if you're for a very old person, if you're an adult, you saw a lot of generation. If you think about the past generation, you'll see that all houses used to look different. More, there weren't so many apartments, there weren't so many advanced houses, there weren't so many tall buildings and large constructions. But you may not know, so you should ask. You can ask your parents to learn about the changes, because they can clearly see the changes in today's house and in the past house. And I think as you can see, something changed. So I'm pretty sure when the future will come, everything will be changed as well. As generation goes, the mindset of a person also changes. So not only the world changes, people also change. So if people's mindset change, the world will also change. Like, as you can see, the house, the how complex today's nowadays the house look. But in the old day, most houses were very simple, and all houses used to look same. But there were some exceptions, but most houses used to look same. A mud house and not much of a things. Yeah, but now you see so many complex designs. Why? Because now people have varieties of taste, and you know time goes on and people change, so in the
Because people are
future,
thinking that they would make some different.
yeah, so in the future people will change
By this
more.
concept, people are making this.
Yeah, and as you can see, people are already changing and things are already changing. The change is in front of your eyes. And if time goes on like this and everything stays normal, surely the houses in the future will be different. At least the quality will be different. If you don't, and the structure will definitely be different because the structure is the most visible thing you can see. Other than that, the quality isn't really something that changed.
So, do you think that kinds of homes people prefer change as they get older?
Um, Yeah, it depends on the person. Like if you see meet an old person, he or she won't really like a house that looks very colorful, that is very complex, and the structure is way too much, uh, colorful and annoying. And what can I say? If the structure is too much weird and too much detailed, yeah, if the structure is too much detailed, an old person or an elderly person may not like that because the taste of an elderly person is very different from a young person. So if you meet a young person, he will probably go for something that's beautiful, something that's attractive. But if you meet an old person, you'll probably like something bland. They like everything different than the young people. So yeah, the young people and the old people will definitely prefer a house that is different from
You know, mean an
others.
old person taste and new person taste is very different.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. And if that is what it asks, that if persons grow older through time, will their taste change? So short answer, yeah. Since the taste change, everything will change, and their decisions will change, and thus they will try going to the old stuff rather than the young stuff. They won't really like it. So yeah, it really changes with the person. But there are some exceptions. Some people don't really change with age. But as I said, those are exceptions.
Okay.
I'm talking about maturity.
So, in what ways is living in a flat in apartment is better than living in a house?
I don't think there's any advantages in living in an apartment. You live in an apartment only because you have no money or you don't have a good financial condition. You need to stay in somewhere that takes less money.
Is the person's own apartment,
Yeah.
or if the person have his own apartment?
Yeah, but that's the same as having your own house. You have an own house and you have an own apartment. The
Both are
same
same.
thing. The same, they mean the same thing. But I think living in your own house is lot better than living in an apartment. If you have enough money, if you have a very strong financial condition, why shouldn't you buy a house of your own? In your own house, you can do so many things, and no one can stop you, and you can customize your house in so many ways. You can buy so many things for your house. But if you live in rent, you
You
can
have to
really,
follow a lot of
yeah, you
rules.
have to follow a lot of rules.
You can do something by your freedom.
No, and you can really buy a lot of things, like just like the other questions earlier. Why
Even
people don't buy a lot of things for their home? This is another reason why people don't really buy a lot of things for their home because it may be forbidden in the rule. The landlord may not like it, and the householder may, forbid it to bring so many things for the house because if you live on someone else's house, you have to be very careful. And yes, if you have less money and if you just have a family, a new family, then you shouldn't consider buying, an own house of your own. Then you should consider buying living in rent. But if you have a good condition, if it's a choice, if it's a personal choice whether you want to stay in a house or rent, I will definitely live in a house because there are so many good qualities and there are there are zero advantages in living in a rent than living in a house. So I don't really find any advantages, and that's my answer.
that was the end of a part three and also end of your speaking test. So thank you very much.